Hi, I'm Scott, a former military pilot and airline pilot from Texas. At 55, I decided I had had enough and embarked on a plan to retire in Thailand. So I did my homework, sold everything, and moved to Thailand. Now I'm living the dream. Okay guys, welcome back to Texas Thai. It's moving day, and I just thought you might enjoy seeing what it looks like. This is my buddy Steve's truck, pretty nice ride. There's the monsters, ready for their start of their journey, and we're loaded up. That's what I'm taking. Of course, I also sent a pallet already, so I guess that's kind of a lie. But anyway, we're off, road trip. Road trip! Okay guys, I'm not going to lie, this next part really sucks for a couple of reasons. First thing is, since my male German Shepherd is the size of a small pony, I had to have a custom crate built for $1,200 to ship him in. But far more importantly was the idea of turning my dogs over to the airlines for their long journey to Thailand. The process of shipping your dog starts with showing up at the airline about 5 hours before the scheduled departure time. And the poor dogs have to stay in the crate the whole time, then endure what was in this case a 12-hour flight all the way to Amsterdam. A huge shout out to the folks in Amsterdam who cared for my dog on his 12-hour layover. I really appreciate it, and if any of you guys are watching, job well done. After a 10-hour ground stop in Amsterdam, the next leg was a 12-hour flight to Bangkok, where the dogs would have to clear customs. Now, a lot of people ask if there's any quarantine, and the answer is no. They have to go through a rigorous inspection process and vaccination process before you leave. Originally, I was scheduled to be in Thailand one day before my dogs and do my then required quarantine and pick the dogs up as soon as they arrived. But the fine people at KLM changed my flight reservations for the dogs about one day prior to flight, which means I had to hire a company to receive the dogs in Bangkok. I went with United Pet Express, who charged me $1,700 to receive the dogs and board them overnight. The total cost to bring my dogs to Thailand, including all the vaccinations, veterinarian appointments, flight information, customs clearance, and transportation, cost me $14,000. Okay, it's the morning of the flight. I'm loaded up with all my stuff, and we're headed to the airport. Okay, we're through security and we're sitting here in the Polaris class lounge. Flight should board in about an hour and a half, so just hanging out. The Polaris class flight from LAX to Narita was really nice, but don't be impressed. I saved up miles for years to pay for this. Everything went pretty well until we met Japanese efficiency, where they were lining people up to check their documents for their next leg. But instead of doing it at the gate, they had one centralized area where they were checking multiple flights, and that line took about an hour and a half. The next leg was a 6-hour flight from Narita to Bangkok, and then a quick stay in a cheap hotel, waiting on the assistant that I had hired to show up the next morning. She arrived with one limo van and one pickup truck for the drive down to Pattaya. Watching her meet the dogs for the first time was an absolute hoot. Rolling through Pattaya was surreal. I could not believe how busy it was and how much traffic there was. I mean, it's always been busy, but you would expect with the tourist numbers as low as they are that it wouldn't be this busy. But it was. After we got through Pattaya and got into Jomtien, things did improve. It's not nearly as fast paced and crowded. The neighborhood that my agent picked out was pretty good. Secure gate at the front, nice streets, overall a good neighborhood, and I think I'll be happy here at least for a year. Okay, fast forward a few days and I'm learning something. Filming everything is nearly impossible. I have so much respect for the guys that do that. So it is now about 3 days after I moved into the house, and I'll give you a quick look around the house that I rented. This is like coming in through the front door, and it's the living room. It's got a hybrid European kitchen slash Thai kitchen. Some interesting little side notes to it. Got a really big bathroom downstairs, so it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house with a carport, private entrance, and of course 3 bedrooms upstairs. So really nice house in a gated neighborhood, and again, not bragging about anything, but I said I would talk to you guys sincerely about the money, and this house is costing me $1,200 US per month. So the past 3 days has been a whirlwind. Picked up the dogs. There's one of them. Picked up the dogs from customs, actually the company that cleared customs for me since I arrived the next day. Picked up the dogs, drove down here to Pattaya, got my stuff moved in, and then I went to the store and just kind of like supplying the house up. Cost me about $500 to buy vacuum cleaner, cleaning supplies, some groceries, etc. And so the next big obstacle was opening a bank account. So that's what I'm doing right now. And you know, you probably heard the expression TIT, T-I-T, this is Thailand. On the first day I moved in, the lady said, oh, let me run over to immigration and get a form stamped so you can open your bank account. And I thought, okay, sure, great. That would be an easy, short process. This has been a 5 phone call, 3 email, through a couple of different people process where they take a bunch of information. I guess the landlord is legally obligated to report a Farang renting a house from them, so they have to take the lease down to the immigration office. They get that thing stamped, signed, approved. Now once they get that done, then they go back with another form. Yes, it's true, the Thais love their forms and their stamps. And this form basically, I think, says that yes, I have a lease here with a picture of my face with another stamp on it. And so now, armed with the official government approved lease and this form, which it's in Thai, so I don't really know what it says, and a W-9 form for the US IRS, my passport, and some cash, looks like I can go open my bank account. So I'm gonna try, and I assume that I'm going to fail the first time, but I'll let you know how it goes. Okay gang, day 7. I am now on my 5th day of dealing with immigration to get the proper paperwork to open a bank account, and on my way for my 2nd attempt at the bank because I didn't create an online profile and schedule an appointment to open a bank account. Everything is harder here. You know, you hear that it's gonna be harder, that they love their paperwork and they love their stamps, and you know it, and you know you're gonna have to adapt, but I'm telling you, until you live it, it's just, you cannot believe how inefficient and how hard it is to get the most simple things done. So we're off to the bank for another attempt. We'll let you know how it goes. Thanks. Okay, finally, success. I've got my bank book.
That only took a week. So, armed with that, now I can go buy a car and buy a motorcycle. And I'm sure that that process is going to go really simple. So, if these videos were helping you, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And we'll see you next time in the car buying process.